What's up, guys?
Congratulations, another win. You keep extending the streak. A win in this rivalry. What's the emotion like for you right now after that performance?
Just content. That was about 30 minutes ago, so I'm over it now. My daughter passed out, so obviously that's my main concern is making sure that she has a good time. Making sure that she remembers tonight and it's memorable for her. So, that's really what's on my mind right now. But once I get home, of course, then I'm going to start, watch the fight and start to decompress and take it all in.
Yeah, obviously a lot of success early. Hurt him really bad in round 2. Looked like maybe the fight was going to be over there. What were your thoughts, I guess, there? And did you think the fight was done at that point?
Yeah, it's very, very hard not to get crazy when you hurt someone like that, And but I know he did his homework. He went to a good team. Those guys at MMA Masters are good coaches, and I know they prepared him well. So he stayed very poised, very controlled. That's why he didn't try to get crazy, because I would have found the shot and put him away. But like I said, as a competitor, I respect him. That's the next best guy in the division.
Yeah, he did start to come alive, right? I mean, he had a good comeback as the rounds were wearing on. Did that? I mean, I know you respect him. He's got cardio, all those things. But did it surprise you how well he was able to rebound over the later rounds?
No, it didn't surprise me. Like I said, he's a great competitor. I know this, and we both know that. So yeah, it didn't surprise me. That's why I had to stay poised and just listen to my coaches, because I really wanted to get him out of there. And so once I start feeling like a giant in there, I'm like a tank, and I want to just get him out of there. But I understand that in this game, it's about using your mental, because we're both physically adequate and we're prepared. So I stayed composed and got the job done.
Is there any disappointment that you didn't get the finish? I mean, obviously you always want to do that, right? But you still got the belt. You got another win. I mean, but is there any disappointment at all that you weren't able to finish?
No, absolutely no disappointment. This guy's tough as nails. It's very, very tough. Like, let's be honest. Ali needed a Frazier. All these guys, you can be the great ones, but there's always going to be that one guy that's going to be able to push you, and he is that guy. As much of him outside of the octagon as most people don't like, myself included. You have to respect him as a competitor.
Yeah. Can you share what the words were that you guys had with each other after the fight? It looked like he maybe actually let the character go for a second and had some true words with you.
No, it's just just two competitors. We went to war. We've spent almost an hour together inside that cage, and so I'll leave that between me and him.
Fair enough. Do you think you're done with him for good? Do you think that's the last time you see him in the cage, or do you think that your paths will cross somewhere down the line?
I don't know, man. That guy's tough. I think he'll tune up a lot of guys in this division. So, we'll see. It's up to him. If he's willing to do the work and get back up here, then if I'm still here, then we'll make it happen.
Nice. Last thing for me, obviously, as champion, you don't have to pick your opponents; they get picked for you. But give us an idea of just the schedule, man. Like what do you want to do? Do you need some time off? I mean, when do you think we might see you compete again?
I need some time with my daughter. She passed out tonight, so that kind of lets me know that I need to give her some time. Because these are special. Like I said, these are special for me. I need to have. She's 7 years old. She understands what's going on, and so I need to make it memorable for her. So. I've been gone for dang near almost 10 weeks, so I need to give her some time. I can't really even think about fighting right now. I've been thinking about fighting a lot this year, as you guys know. So, yeah, I got to go home and give her some time.
Kamaru, back here, your Nigeria brother. You took a trip back to Nigeria for the first time this year. I'm sure it was an emotional trip for you. How much did that trip gear you up for tonight's fight?
It was a great trip. I really got a chance to go and see what me competing and how me competing the way that I do does for not just the country of Nigeria, but the continent of Africa. So, yeah, of course, it's extra motivation, extra fuel each and every time I step in there.
Thank you.
Were you at all surprised by the drop in output? Because the first time Covington and you fought, he came out putting lots and lots of less power but more volume. And I think the stats were there was 111 in the first round last time and 47 this time. Was that something you expected, or was that a bit of a shock?
No, it's no shock. I mean, in that first fight, let's be honest, Covington's used to just wearing guys out by putting on that pace. But then you realize there's another motherfucker who got pace too. And so you got to slow your ass down, because eventually I put him away at the end of that first one. So he went to a good team. I know they were going to prepare him well, and they definitely did.
Hey, champ. To talk about a little bit, we talked to Dana. We know that you expressed your interest in Canelo. Dana White's words, not mine. He doesn't want to box Canelo.
Dana doesn't know that. Like I said, I want something that scares me. If I'm gonna leave my daughter for another 12 weeks or more, it's gotta be something that really, really gets me up. And I like that. I want to challenge myself. I know a lot of people are gonna talk down or say a lot of bullshit and say this. Oh yeah, you don't want this, you don't want that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's a master at what he does. I love it and I respect it, which is why I want to challenge myself in that way. The last time I was an underdog, we saw what happened. So it is what it is. I get it, but we're the ones who will take those risks. We're the ones who are willing to go over there and take that risk. They won't dare come over here and take that risk.
Does it bother you at all that Canelo got the finish in his on the other side of the country tonight?
Does it bother me? No, because I didn't know he got the finish. If I knew he got the finish beforehand, I would have got that finish too. It's about being calculated and technical, and I did that tonight.
To talk a little bit, staying motivated, because when you look at the welterweight division, maybe some new guys coming up, but then it's like, could it be more rematches? And obviously, as a competitor, how do you keep outdoing yourself against the same opponent? So can you talk a little bit about that? When you get in the gym and you want to improve as a fighter, how do you keep yourself hungry to keep reaching those levels, knowing all the guys are behind you?
It's a matter of me just wanting to, compete. Like I said, the biggest driving force for me was competition. It's something as a wrestler, and most wrestlers can attest to this. It's something when you go in there and you compete with another man and you break his will and you beat him. So, as long as I still have that will to compete, I'm going to be doing my thing and I'm going to be here. But if I don't, then, hey, I know when it's time to step away.
It's very rare nowadays to have a UFC champion defend the belt 3 times in the calendar year. Obviously, they were big fights. You had a strong B-side in April, and then obviously tonight. I mean, I know it's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of training away, financially and everything else with the attention. Has it brought you those things you were looking for? Because obviously you could have said, Dana, maybe I need just a little bit more time before I get back in here.
I mean, no, not at all. Because, we can really weigh this out. My daughter's 7 years old. She don't give a shit if daddy has $20 million stacked up. When she's 18, what she's going to say is, where were you? And God forbid something ever happens to her, she's going to ask me, where were you? She's not going to give a shit if daddy can pay for her to do this and this and that. So, you got to weigh it out. And right now, those are the important things to me.
Thank you and congratulations.
Kamaru, right over here. Could you put in perspective what Coach Trevor Whitman's done for you in this next phase in your championship reign, or what it means to you to have him there?
Yeah, I mean, he kept me poised, especially in this fight, because I wanted to let the juggernaut come out. In that second round, I really wanted to let it come out. I was going to Hulk smash this guy. But, Trevor kept me there and told me to just stay composed and stay poised and try to find that finish. And I did, but Kobe is no slouch. I mean, he's a tough dude, and you saw that tonight.
If you feel deep down in your heart, if you look really inside of you, do you think that we'll see you compete in the middleweight division before your career's over?
Like I said, as long as Israel is the champion there, that's not really something that that interests me. Like I said, unless Dana wants to give us $100 million, then me and Israel have to have a serious talk. Like, hey, we want this 50 apiece or what? But, right now that doesn't really interest me, because I meant what I said. 2 Nigerians with belts is more important to me than 1 Nigerian with 2 belts.
Kamaru, being in the welterweight division has such a stacked history with gentlemen like St. Pierre and Hughes, who helped really in a lot of ways put the sport on the mainstream map. Where do you think you have to go in order to surpass him as the greatest of all time?
Where do I have to go? I mean, where do I have to go? I mean, I just keep doing what I do, keep stacking them up, and I mean, it's no secret who the best is right now. And George is one of those guys that I would have loved, I would have entertained, I would have loved the fight. I respect him a lot. I think he did a tremendous amount for the sport. But time evolves, fighters evolve, guys get better, guys get hungrier, and that's just where I am right now.
Kamaru, it's been obviously a spectacular year for you. Do you feel like you are right now the front runner as the fighter of the year? I think it's probably a 2-horse race if Dustin Poirier can win the title next month. But do you think it's you?
I'll let you guys decide that. But
Dana was in here and he said, this guy is the best ever. He is the best welterweight of all time. He is on his way to possible GOAT status. You're 15-0 in the UFC. One more win, you'll tie that Anderson Silva record. How close are you seeing your ceiling? Like, do you think there's a lot of room for improvement for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Every morning I wake up, there's a lot of room for improvement. And the way that I pee in the toilet, there's a lot of room for improvement there, Sometimes you only hit the seat, and you got to wipe it down. But, there's room for improvement every facet of life. And, as long as I'm still hungry to do this, then, hey, I'm going to keep improving.
I asked Rose the similar question when I asked you guys at the press conference. Justin Gaethje's fight, obviously an insane back and forth battle, incredible performance by him. Were you watching that, and was it difficult to keep your emotions in check and not, get too high so that you have an adrenaline dump before your fight or something like that?
No, he's a madman, so and then I have to fight that guy every day at practice, So no, it wasn't. It was just. For us, it was just a matter of, we're screaming instructions. Relax. Don't get crazy in the back like he could hear us. But, he's just, he's a special fighter, special athlete.
Is this something you'd like to do again, having all three of you on the same card, or do you think
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes.
You'd do it every fight if you could?
Yeah. Then we get to, now our coach gets to have a break, then we come back in camp again, and so he's not boom, 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 this guy and that guy and this guy, that guy, So now it's just one shot kill, all three. Then he gets a break, we get a break, then we jump back in. So, hey, it makes sense. It worked, right?
It did work great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last thing from me, there was a lot of slipping around on the canvas tonight. We asked Dana about it. He said he didn't really know why there was a lot of that happening more so than usual. What were you feeling in there? Did you feel a different kind of canvas? And he mentioned something before the 5th round or when the eye poke happened that you were like stomping your feet or wiping your feet off. And he said to ask you about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something about that cage. It's I love the canvas because you see what the UFC does there. They're trying to provide a great canvas to where you can grapple on and not slip, but for some reason it gets slippery in there. Maybe it's just something with, when you're in a fist fight, maybe your feet sweat. So, we got to figure out something to do with that, but yeah.
Kamaru, even though there was some hostility with the New York City crowd, what does it mean for your legacy to having main evented pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden where some of the great combat sports warriors of the past have participated?
Means a lot. Like I said, right now it's kind of hard to process it, but when I get home and really decompress, I'll be able to process how special tonight was.
Yeah. Now, I know there's been talks about your next possible opponent. I know you want to take some time off, do some much-deserved family time, but
what opponent?
Oh, I mean, who were you looking at next if you had to make a choice? I mean, Luque's thrown out there. I know he's your former teammate with the Black Zillions. Everybody's talking about Hazmat. Who would you like to fight next if you had your way, besides Canelo, obviously?
Like I said, it's a business now. So we're going to go back. My manager, Ali Abdelaziz, does what he does best. And we'll sit with Dana, and Dana does what he does best. And we'll see what makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on over here on your left. So Colby tried taking you down 11 times tonight, and he was unsuccessful every time. What does that mean to you to dominate one of the best grapplers in the division?
I mean, like I've told you guys, this guy's tough as nails. As a person, maybe he's a little rotten, but as a competitor, nothing but respect. As a wrestler, we understand each other and we speak wrestling, so we know how tough it is in there. So, I'll give him credit, man. He's a tough son of a gun, and he showed it tonight.
and at the end you ended up offering up a handshake. Were you at all surprised that he obliged you in that? Because earlier in the week he said he would not do that.
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, we've shared almost an hour, pretty much an hour, with each other inside that cage. So I don't care who you are. There's mutual respect that just comes alive. It's just a spirit of competition. That's the spirit of martial arts.
And you, last one for me. You mentioned that earlier in the week, your main motivation for wanting to box Canelo Alvarez would just be purely from a competition standpoint. Does that mean that you'd be willing to maybe do it under a charity setting since it's not about the money?
What? You heard this too? Charity. Are we wearing MMA gloves? No, come on, this guy. No, listen. Of course we want the money. What do you mean? Yeah, absolutely. No, I absolutely want to test myself. That's the thing. You guys don't understand. Unless you guys fight, you won't understand the feeling that it is to be back there all freaking day. The feeling that you have in your stomach. You want to take a shit, you want to piss, you want to shit, you want to piss, but nothing comes out. You're nervous, your stomach is in knots. You have that, there's something about that feeling. You hate it. Every aspect of it, you hate it. But then you're done. And then the next day it's like, that wasn't that bad. I'll do it again. It's something about that feeling that's addicting. That's Canelo's a big, scary guy. And he knows I'm a big, scary guy if he ever came over here.
Was there any concern when it went to the judges, or did you think you had done enough to get the win?
Concern? No, this is mentally. I say I dominate from start to finish, and I mean that. I don't have to worry about the scorecards because I've already kept score in my head. Each and every time I was dominating him. I controlled him with the jab, and he knew he can get reckless, he can get crazy because I would have put him away. So, hats off to him. He's a very, very tough guy, but yeah, wasn't worried about that.
Real quick one. You and Valentina Shevchenko are neck and neck on possibly being the first champions to actually fill up all the rubies on the new belt. I know you're not about the numbers, but for the ego, would it feel good to finally fill it up before anyone else?
Absolutely, it would feel amazing. It would feel amazing. So we'll see. It's a race.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.